In a career that spans more than 30 years, Michael Wong's body of work stands alone. After working youth games in the late 80s and early 90s, Michael quickly rose to the high school level and assumed various leadership positions in the state, from the USSF State Referee Administrator to the USSF State Coordinator in Hawaii, all the while meeting and mentoring a fresh batch of new officials.
When I moved here, he was the state referee administrator, which for U.S. soccer is the top referee in the state. And I wanted to upgrade my certification level, and he was the guy I had to go through. And he was very supportive. He became a mentor for me as I went through that process, and I succeeded in advancing to the level that I wanted to be at for the rest of my soccer career.
He was the referee assigner, and he knew I just came in. I had been a referee for only a couple of years, and I said, listen, I'm a little concerned about how I'm going to do out there. And he took me under his wing, helped me out a lot. He showed me the ins and outs of refereeing in Hawaii, and it really helped me out. And then from then on, our relationship stayed together for that long, since I met him the first time in 1996.
His passion for the pitch shines through in his level of officiating, working NCAA matches, including refereeing one of only 2 NCAA Division I postseason matches to ever be played in Hawaii in 2004. A year not only marked with a remarkable accomplishment, but an idea to help fellow officials in Hawaii.
In 2004, Mike recognized that there was a lack of referee instruction and a lack of opportunities for referee fellowship off the field. And he decided to form an organization and asked me to help him do that and be one of the charter members. And so we formed the Ko'olau Soccer Referee Association, KSRA.
The amount of dedication that he would just go out every weekend or every other day to work with the referees. And when he was the administrator, he would work tirelessly, because I've done the job myself. But he was the one that actually got mainland national referees to come here to train us. And so he kind of reached out. He developed these relationships with people over in the professional referees, and he would bring them here, and I'd be like, "How'd you get this guy here?" And he would just work on the relationships. He was a really good relationship builder.
For 23 years, he built long-lasting friendships, and as Hawaii's NISOA chapter representative, responsible for training and assigning local referees for collegiate matches for the University of Hawaii in the WAC and the Big West Conference.
Mike would be one of the first ones to kind of show you why learning the laws of the game, perseverance, and fitness would lead you to higher levels of refereeing. And he's kind of one of those guys that would always kind of keep on you, make sure you kind of keep on the straight and narrow as much as possible.
Clearly he has a passion for the game, and he's always had it, and that's one of the things I admired about him. He was always out there trying to inspire the rest of the referees, trying to teach us, trying to be a leader in the community, and he succeeded at all of that, and I really admire him for that.
Michael Wong retired from officiating in 2020, but his leadership, character, and willingness to lend a helping hand has left a lasting impact on those around him.
The thing about, I would tell Mike, is all that work you did, all these young referees that are now adults, they learn from Mike what it is to be successful, I think. And I think the referees that are adults now would remember that. I would tell them that.
An elite level accomplishment for an elite level official. Congratulations to 2022 Hawaii Sports Officials Hall of Fame inductee, Michael Wong.
Thank you so much. Just a bit overwhelmed. So as the fellow inductees have said, we're so grateful to be here. I want to extend my congratulations to the other inductees. And I want to thank Cal and his committee for putting this together. Firstly, I want to give thanks to Jesus Christ, my Savior, because without him, my life would be very different. Officials are not usually in the spotlight, and I met him just today, the great football referee Joe Nellis. He said, you had a good game when after the game, you leave the field and nobody notices you, which is true. If you mess up, they know who you are. Recently, Tita Huna, one of the great Hawaii volleyball players and coach, She said she's a product of the community of fellow players, mentors, and coaches. Ditto for me. I had some great mentors, some great fellow officials and teachers. My journey as a soccer referee started like other officials. I was coaching. I was a soccer coach for Kaleo High School back in the 80s. And I'm honored that one of my star players joined us here tonight, Alana. Thank you. Anyway, we had this game, and it was getting tight. We had a chance to go to the playoffs. And one of my players scored a goal. And the referee had an infraction and called the goal back. I was not happy. So I walked after the game, I walked on the field, and I told the coach, you better go check your eyesight, your mother wears combat boots, the whole thing, you know? And I let him have it. And I did that in front of my players, and when I went home that night, I was remorseful, because that's normally not my style. And so, didn't rest well that night, and the next day, Sunday, I had to go to church. And that said even more. I said, oh man, I feel terrible. So I knew that on Monday, those officials got together at a referee meeting, and I decided to show up at the meeting. And when I walked into the room, they all looked at me like, oh, what is he doing here, you know? And what I did was, I said, I want to publicly apologize to the referee, because my behavior was uncalled for. And the woman running the meeting at the time, Sherry Ward, she said, well, thank you very much, but you know, after the meeting, she says, have you ever considered being a referee? Now, way in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I can do a better job than that guy for sure. So I signed up. And then when I got into refereeing, I found out, wow, this is hard. If none of you have been to a soccer game, you're in the middle, you know, by yourself, and you're doing most of the running in the hot sun, and it's very tiring. But anyway, I did stick with it, and for about a year or so, I improved my skills, and then I got a call to do a U16 championship boys game. Back then we didn't have YPO soccer field. We had Kapiolani Park, and that was the big place. You had Cap 1, Cap 2, Cap 3, and if you had Cap 1, that's all the championship games. So I showed up at the field to do this U16 championship game. But when I got to the field, the signer said, you know what, we're going to move you. Instead of doing the championship game, we're going to move you to the third place game on Cap 2. And I was kind of, okay. But the person that was replacing me was a man named Peter Verdon, and he was like a mentor. He had more experience, so fine, Peter takes the game. Little did I know, the two teams playing on Cap 2 was the Aces and the Bulls, U16 boys who didn't like each other. And so I basically walked into a melee. You know, it was just, these guys went at it, and I didn't have enough experience. I did the best I could, but after the game, the losing coach came over to me and basically attacked me. And he literally grabbed hold of me, totally ripped my jersey off of me, and it was a frightening experience. And luckily there was a good Samaritan that grabbed him from behind and took him to the ground. I tried to stand my ground because I knew if he took me to the ground, I wouldn't have this beautiful face that I have here today. So, is Mr. Donovan still here? Because the Senate Bill 2612, which protects officials from assault. We should have had that back then, you know. But anyway, it was a traumatic experience. My family was there. People on the field, you know, of course they thought I did a lousy job too, so they're all jeering at me while I have my shirt off, you know. And so I stepped back from officiating. And so I didn't ref for a while, but I was coaching my son's under 10 team. And I kept coaching, and we were going in the parking lot. And by the way, my son Andrew flew in from Las Vegas to this afternoon to be here. Son, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And anyway, we walked in the parking lot, and there was the coach that attacked me. And he's a big guy. And I step back and I go, whoa, you know. But he was a macho guy, and he wanted to apologize. Now, he didn't go, hey, bro, sorry, you know, he didn't do that. He just was like, hey, you know, things happen. But in his own way, he apologized. Life is short. Accept it, move on. And with that, my mentor, Peter Verdon, says, you know, Mike, you got to get back in the game. And he encouraged me to get back in the game. Sadly, Peter Verdon, my good friend, mentor, passed away in April. And but his wife, June, is here tonight. And June, thank you again for coming tonight to represent Peter. Around 1994, the University of Hawaii started a women's soccer program, and UH needed soccer referees, so the NC2A started hiring some of us local referees. The National Intercollegiate Soccer Officials Association, NISOA, they sent referee instructors to train us, local referees, for the college game. I signed up to enter into the NISOA referee program and had to attend a 3-day soccer referee training camp in California. There, received special training. Referees needed to perform a rigorous fitness test and written exam. When I returned from the camp, I was under evaluation for 2 years, examined by referee assessors who gave me valuable advice on how to improve my performance. And one of those was the guy you've seen up there, Mike Fricano, the guy with the mustache. And one of the guys up here came and said, you know, when they went into the room and with the lights off and everything, yeah, we brought bedding material, and we were going to go sleep with Mike. Mike would just go through every part of the game, but he was very helpful, you know. And Jerry himself, the other guy in the video, he assessed me many times too. And one time I was out there, you know, we went out to the Big Island, and I was refereeing a game, and I was running, and I was thinking, man, I got my national badge, and I was thinking I'm doing a good job. And when I came off at halftime, I looked at Jerry and I said, hey, Jerry, how am I doing? He said, Mike, you look bored out of your mind. But that's the kind of feedback that we need to improve, and he was being honest, and from there, you start thinking and improving yourself. Now, the women's game is quite different from a men's match. Now, the single male referees had a tough time adjusting. Each team, if you don't know, each team has 11 players on one field, so you have 22 players on the field. And basically, you have 22 women telling you all the mistakes you're making. But the married guys like me, our wives already trained us. And it's pretty tough when a woman runs up next to you and says, hey, ref, looking a little slow today, huh? Around 2002, I completed all the requirements for my national badge, and I became the first national collegiate referee from Hawaii. I received some great assignments, in which I officiated at Loyola Marymount, Pepperdine University, St. Mary's College, University of Denver, just to name a few. I was privileged to be on the field with some great players like Brian Ching from Haleiwa, who played at Gonzaga University and was a top professional striker in the MLS. and who's the only Hawaii player that rostered on a USA Men's World Cup team. Also, Natasha Kai, who played at the University of Hawaii's women's team, went on to play in the Olympics, winning the gold medal with the USA, and also played on the women's national team. I also started to referee, and then I assigned games for the pro league that we had in Hawaii, the Hawaii Tsunami. That was my pro experience. Isaac Veal was a fellow referee who officiated with me in many games. Isaac was tall, black, and a Honolulu police officer. Isaac was a cool dude, and he drove a Dodge Charger muscle car. And you know when Isaac pulled up in the parking lot by the sound of his car. Say, oh, Isaac just arrived. Now his son and my son are about the same age, and both played soccer. His son for Aiea, and my son for Kailua. Of course, we sat in the stands near each other whenever they played, and we would banter each other. Isaac's beat was near the H2 freeway, and on August 16, 2004, after making a traffic stop, Isaac got a call to help another officer. He quickly got into his Dodge to respond to the call. Something happened where Isaac lost control of his vehicle, and the car rolled over on the medial strip, and Isaac was ejected from the vehicle. Isaac died at the scene. Police officers are the referees in our community, and they deserve our respect. It's been said that there's no greater love than this when one gives his life for another. To me, Isaac rushing to help another officer is a great example of this. His wife, Donna, is here tonight. Thank you, Donna, for being here tonight. When I started the Ko'olau Soccer Referee Association, we would honor Isaac by giving out an award in his honor with the idea of selfless service. Jerry Giles was the first recipient of that, and he's joined us here tonight. Thank you, Jerry, for coming. Complete surprise to me, my friend, my classmate, Rudy Alejo, is here, and he brought, I'm a classmate, graduated Damien High School, and 69, and the president and the principal is here. Thank you guys for coming. I mean, I'm so blessed. Thank you so much. Finally, I want to thank my dear wife, Denise, who has weathered many absences when I was on travel or refereeing for hours on end, missing dinners with the family and just not being at home. She has given me wonderful support with no complaints. Not. But she has been so supportive. Denise, I love you so much. Next year, we'll celebrate 50 years married. Thank you. This has been truly an honor. It's so overwhelming. I just can't say enough thank yous. Got wonderful friends. Thank you all for being here. God bless you all, and good night.